Hey guys, Andy here. So here I am at, you can see, there we go, at Halfords, because I decided, like many cyclists, that I wanted a winter hack, they call it, I think. So a not so nice, not so expensive bike that you don't mind using in the crappy winter conditions with salt on the roads, dirt's being sprayed up into your gears and everything, rather than your nice, shiny, expensive road bike. I also thought it was a good opportunity then to get something slightly different that opens up a few more avenues. I don't know if I'd call it off-road or gravel, they could, don't they? So I thought, well, yeah, maybe I'll get a gravel bike. You can use it on the road, but you can use it at a bit more dirtier conditions. And I'd actually picked out, there's a Boardman Adventure that Halfords sell, which I thought looked to tick the boxes, and people said, yeah, it seemed to be a fairly well-spec'd bike. And I'd put it in my shopping basket, I think on like the Thursday. And then my cycle to work voucher came through on the Monday morning. I went straight to the Halfords website and it's out of stock. So, with the lockdown coming, well, starting literally today being the Thursday, and I'm talking about the Monday just gone, I almost panicked a little bit, I suppose. Not panicked, but was just concerned, oh my goodness, if I don't move quick, I'm not going to get a bike for the winter because they're all going to sell out again like happened at the first lockdown. So I had a look around on the Halfords website, and I saw this cyclocross bike. And I thought, I mean, honestly, I should have done a lot more research before I decided, you know what, let's just get that. But I think I kind of panic bought it, impulse bought it, as I often do. Because, funny enough, on the Monday, I was at Ford Enfield. I'm almost next door having a maintenance thing done on the car. And this cyclocross bike, it said really low stock levels. It's basically, if you happen to have one in your local Halfords, then you're in luck, sort of thing. And sure enough, Enfield Halfords had one in the XL, and it was literally next door. So I popped round and basically reserved it. And I'm back today to pick it up. So I thought I'd make a video about the cyclocross bike. So let's start off with what actually is cyclocross. So it's something that some cyclists do in the winter when the weather gets a bit worse, because it's almost more fun in the crappy weather, I suppose. It's a race around a track which is, I believe, between 1 and 3 kilometres, mixing in tarmac, sand, dirt, mud, run-ups and sometimes steps and jumps and things. And races typically last a set time span between 30 minutes and an hour. So moving on to the bike, and I guess initially the bike that I've bought. So I use the Cycle to Work scheme. It's really good if you haven't used it before, because you pay for it from your wages before tax. So this is the Boardman CXR 8.9, which cost about £1,000, but I would end up paying about $650 because I pay for it before the tax comes out of my pay. Therefore, you're saving it. So check if your workplace does that scheme. What's the difference between this and a regular road bike? And you're looking at one of them there, is the gearing. So it's slightly shorter gearing for lower speed, really, for more inclines. Also, I've found out being able to put the power down when you're in mud. You'll see there it's got disc brakes, which is a fairly common thing for a cyclocross bike, because you want some good stopping power. You can see I got the XL version. And the frame is another point. So often there's a bigger space in the frame for you to be able to sling the bike onto your shoulder. And then a very clear point of difference there is the tyres. These are not road tyres. These are supposed to help you in the muddy, crappy conditions, which generally they did. But I found still that I could be spinning up my wheels quite often. It also is worth noting that it has a SRAM gears, which is new to me, and it is only, I think it's 10 or 11 speed. There's only the one speed at the front, which again is quite different. I suppose it goes back to my the hybrid bike that I had last year. That was the same thing. There was only one speed at the front. It was just changing gears at the back, which does make life a bit simpler, actually. I don't mind it too much. So yeah, often they're a bit sturdier and more rugged. And this one, I've weighed it with various bits kitted onto it, is about 11 kilos. So it's not crazy heavy, but it's not super light like perhaps my Canyon, which weighs down closer to sort of 8 or 9 kilos. So now I've got all the bits attached or swapped, or basically the bike is ready. I guess it's time to get out there and cycle. Right, so I'm only about 4 miles in. I think I'm going to have to abandon whatever route Strava's done for me. I did select like any dirt roads, but it's basically, it's just too sodden. And my wheels, they just spin up as I try and pedal, put any sort of power in. They just spin in the dirt, so I'm basically walking through this field. I can see there's a road there. I think I'm just going to have to get on that and sort of do just a regular road ride. I don't need to get proper dirt routes. I'm sure there's people can give me some dirt routes to do. So yeah, got to be careful with the off-road when it's been this wet. As for riding on the road, the gearing, it is a bit short. Having said that, I think I did 32.5 miles an hour at one point without too much trouble. I changed up into the last gear at about 24 miles an hour, I think. So yeah, not ideal if you're going to be trying to set PRs on downhill segments, but actually it was pretty quick going up Woodville, which are really steep. Well, yeah, fairly steep. Look at that. Oh. And yeah, to be fair, getting out here on sort of the road bits, I didn't feel like I needed more gears. I mean, if you're going down a really fast downhill bit, I'm just going to freewheel. It's not a big issue. It does feel a little bit like I was just on my small ring on my Canyon, perhaps. But again, it's okay when you get up into that top gear. I got up to 32 miles an hour and I'm still pedaling. I wasn't freewheeling at that point. It's okay. The brakes are interesting. They're not quite as sharp as my Canyon. I mean, they're not bad. They're better than sort of rim brakes that I've had on bikes, but just not quite as sharp as the Canyon. I think it might be a bit smaller. I think the surface area is as big and things like that. So, I mean, I guess they're just not as good. The Canyon's a very expensive bike. They're fine. Not necessarily an issue. I just noticed they're not as sharp. The gears, they're a little bit clunky, but at the same time, they're quite sharp. It's quite a positive feeling when you change gear. There's no concerns. I didn't realise, so I've not used, this is a Sram, isn't it? So a small click goes up, and the big click goes down. I didn't know how you go down. I was like, oh, where's the downshift? And I realised you've got a small for going up and big for going down. And I damaged my frame. Oh, I have as well. See, I always do that. I can't have nice things. To be fair, this is a bike that's supposed to be kind of, I'm going to just batter it, so I'm not overly. First ride only, typical me. Never mind. That's almost exactly what I did with my Canyon at one point as well, where I've lented up somewhere and it's fell down and just scraped along a pillar. Anyway, so yeah, it's just not. And maybe we'll have another go cycling down this bit, but yeah, the wheels are just spinning up, so I'll probably just walk down to the road and cycle a bit of a route home, basically. Yeah, off-road's not really for me, I think, to be honest. It's quite weird the way the bike moves around underneath you. It's a little bit unnerving. I suppose you get used to it, and it's probably a good thing to be, you know, when you start on road motorbikes, to ride off-road, ride motocross, because you get used to how to deal with the bike when it moves around. And I guess it's the same sort of thing with cycling. So anyway, let's, I better get myself home somehow before it gets dark. This is actually ride number 3. It's on a route that somebody gave me, so I was hoping to avoid the mud. I think generally it's just too soft. The ground is too soft at the moment for this type of riding. It's not clogging up like it did in the field in ride 1, but wow, that is hard work to cycle through. It really is. You're putting so much power, the wheels are spinning. I mean, my heart rate was up to 160 there, which is normally what I'll get powering up a hill somewhere. And I also understand why you want the lower gears. So I'm actually in second there, but anything higher and you put in too much torque, I guess, through the rear wheel, and that's when it just spins. So to drop it down, so when you press, it kind of takes a bit of that torque or power out, and just hopefully gradually tries to move you through the mud. So the route I was given was 28 miles. I cut 5 miles out, so I thought, well, I've got work this afternoon, well, from lunchtime, and I've only done about 5 miles so far. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to cut this one short. It's gonna take me too long. I've got things to do and I've got work to do, and it's gonna take me forever. My average speed, I can't even imagine what my average speed must be down this track at the moment. It does look better ahead. It is fun. I think I prefer road riding still. I mean, it's very early days, and to be honest, when it's the sort of harder, gravelly, and I can get a bit more speed up and I feel like I'm traveling somewhere, then it's not so bad. But I don't particularly enjoy the boggy mud. Still, it's a nice morning. It's not actually as cold as I thought it might be. I start off, it's about 5 or 6 degrees. I've got all my proper winter gear on. I'm quite warm at the minute because I've had my heart rate up at 160. Anyway, I best get on with dealing with this mud, I suppose. So unfortunately I'm going to cut this ride a bit short as well, because I just had a bit of a crash, turning right on a regular road. I wasn't even going that quick, but I was turning right on a roundabout and the wheels just went out from under me. A little bit annoying because I've damaged my, where is it, somewhere around there, damaged my expensive Gore-Tex top. Never mind. So yeah, do bear in mind these tyres, they're just not going to give you the same grip, and often you're going to be riding in a bit greasier conditions. The tyres probably going to be greasy with all the mud on them and things. Again, I was on the tarmac for, I don't know, half a mile or so. It wasn't like I'd just come off the mud. But anyway. But I do like the bike. I like the riding position. It's quite an aggressive riding position. You get used to riding roads for a year or so. You get used to the drop handlebars. So even off-road, I quite like that. I don't really use the drops much, if I'm honest. The gears, I think I said earlier, they're quite sort of clunky but responsive. I have found a couple of times I'll change and I have to wait, and maybe I have to change again for it to happen, but I think you get that. I got that with my 105s on my other bikes, so it does happen from time to time. But yeah, I do like it. I possibly off-road itself, maybe not so much for me. If I can find some better gravel, maybe there's not gravel in Hertfordshire, I don't know. And some of the roads I've done today definitely been better than the field I tried to cycle through a couple of days ago. So there you go. The Boardman CXR, was it? I can't remember now. The Boardman CXR 8.9. About £1,000 from Halfords. Get it on Cycle to Work though, and you'll pay less than that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you aren't already a subscriber, please do subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But for now, my name's Andy, and I'll catch you all again soon.